I'll call to order the Planning Commission meeting at 6:34 on October 20th. First up is approval of minutes from September 15th.
Second.
All right, moved by Tom, seconded by, I'll give it to Ed this time. Any changes at all? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. I forgot to vote. Aye. Oops. I keep forgetting to vote. All right, public appearances for non-agenda items. I don't have anyone that's here for a non-agenda item that I'm aware of, unless there's someone online. Scott? I don't think so, though. All right, agenda review. I don't think there's anything that we need changes there, Sonia?
No changes.
All right, we can get right to it. Agenda item A, ADR for lot 107 in Fahey Fields, and I believe I saw David Fahey on the line. Do you want to speak to what you're doing here, David, or unless you have someone else on the line that wants to speak to it?
No, I'll let Andrew speak. I think he's going to talk. And I'll let them talk about it. And we're just building a 4-unit on the one lot we have in Fahey Fields. So I'll answer any questions you guys have. Otherwise, I'll let them go over it. Thank you.
All right, Andrew, go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Good. Sometimes my mic doesn't always work the way I would like it to. As far as sharing, okay, it looks like you have the documents up there. So this is a 4-unit townhome building on Fahey Fields lot 107. It is zoned for this use and this density, so there should be no issues there. But what we have is, you can see there the site plan. There's probably more detail a few pages in on the civil plan and landscape plan. But yeah, that's a good one. We have a 4-unit building that is on the corner there with the front entrances along the street and parking in the rear. Yep, thank you. It's odd not being able to control, where you're pointing to or what drawings you're referring to. So thank you very much.
Yep.
Whoever's doing that. Each unit has a 2-car garage, so it's a 4-unit building. Like I said, each unit with individual entries, 2 stories, with a 2-car garage stall, access from the rear, so it gets a really nice street presence from the front, and some supplementary parking behind. If we go to the exterior, I'll give a short rundown of the exterior there. So very traditional architectural aesthetic, similar to the other buildings that are in the neighborhood. You can see each unit is distinguishable on the outside, as a townhome should. And quality materials, I don't know if you can zoom in to that front elevation. Maybe I can speak a little more detail about the materials. So quality materials, you can see on the base, we have, and I do have photos of the actual material board. If you want me to share my screen, I can show you those as well. But we have a stone base, and the stone comes up at certain areas, mainly the entry there. Yep, thank you. And then we also have the stone base on the columns, a slightly different, darker stone blend, similar stone, but a different blend that lets those column bases pop out a little bit from the rest of the building. The blue color is fiber cement siding, so we're suggesting a rich bluish tone. And then the accent colors between the windows of the first and second floor and on the gables would be a tannish color. And then the window trim would be white. So again, high quality materials, fiber cement siding products, stone, in a very nice color palette that doesn't overwhelm, but helps identify the building nicely. So it's pretty straightforward. The rear, you can see the rear there, the rear loaded garages, still a nice exterior aesthetic there. You can see the upper level windows for the units. Those are bedrooms, obviously. Really, unless there's other questions, that's it. It's not too complex or too involved. It's just a real nice, simple townhome building that'll be a great addition to the neighborhood.
All right, Sonia, do you want to do a staff report?
Yes, so as the applicant noted, this is an existing platted lot 107 of Fahey Fields, and then it has its existing RH zoning, residential high density zoning, so it complies with the permitted uses in that zoning district. So what our agenda item is just the architectural design review for site and structural development. Everything is fairly standard and straightforward. The staff recommendation is for approval. I'll just point out two conditions that are a little bit less than or more than our standard items. So first of all, item number 2 in the recommended conditions of approval in the staff memo is that the fire department did have some concerns with grading in the rear of the building and this driveway coming in off of Fahey Glen. So the condition is just to resolve that grading issue to the satisfaction of the fire chief, public works director, and city planner, just to make sure that the fire apparatus doesn't have issues with a steep slope on that driveway. And the second condition of approval that I wanted to point out is just to ensure that the sidewalk along Nobel Drive is put in as a 10-foot path as required in the McGaugh neighborhood plan. It's my understanding that initially the plan set showed a standard sidewalk there, but it should be a 10-foot wide shared path. So that is in there to ensure that that is completed. If there are questions on any of the other conditions, I can address those. Otherwise, there are 12. And again, that's recommended for approval.
All right, thank you. Just want to check in again with David or anyone else on the team, make sure there's nothing else you wanted to add.
No.
All right.
Our civil engineers working, as far as the grading comment, our civil engineers working with the fire department and follow up with public works and make sure that we don't anticipate that being an issue.
Great. Questions, comments, Rich?
Yeah, I got a couple of things for Sonia. I noticed this is minimum 10 dwelling units per acre, and this is 0.6 acres, but only 4 units. Does that all get averaged together with the rest of the lots?
That's correct. It's an average minimum density, and that is applied across all of the other lots that are also designated as this R2 land use category. So that was calculated when the CDP, the Comprehensive Development Plan, was submitted for the overall Fahey Fields development.
Good.
So while this lot itself is, I think it's around 7 dwelling units per acre. So it's less than that 10 dwelling unit minimum, but it's that average across the whole CDP. And we did go through that and it still complies.
And then another question. You commented something about dark sky compliant fixtures. Can you just fill us in on that? It says per our conversation with Sonia, the light fixtures are okay.
Yes, in the comments, yep. They're proposing wall pack fixtures. I believe it's on the Nobel Drive side. And those were not full cutoff fixtures. But in discussion with JLA, we agreed that there is no light spill beyond the property line or no anticipated glare, and that those types of wall pack fixtures at entryways are fairly standard. So our code does not require that those items be full cutoff. And again, without the light spill, there was none shown on the photometric plan. I felt that it was appropriate to use the light fixture that they're proposing.
Okay, thanks.
Stephen?
One of my questions that I wrote down here was about the access point. I noticed that you have it as condition number 5 about obtaining the driveway permit. Any concerns so far on the proximity of that to the roundabout?
I don't think so. On the site plan here, It's shown where my cursor is, where this 24-foot wide dimension is shown. I don't have a distance here. I think this lot line was something like 130 or 140 feet wide. So that didn't come up in the Public Works comments as a concern.
Anyone else? Ed?
Are these condominium units or is this rental?
I defer to the applicant.
There'll be rental.
Okay. All right, I like the materials. I appreciate the choice of cement fiber board rather than vinyl on this. I think that's great.
Other comments or questions at all? Or if someone wants to do a motion, then we can do that.
I'll move approval of ADR for lot 107 Fay Fields with 12 conditions as noted by staff.
Second.
All right, seconded by Lane. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. And opposed, nay. All right, that one is approved. All right, next up is 5B, the Certified Survey Map Request, CS 2367. I think I saw Sean online as well, maybe? All right, do you want to tell us what you're doing here, Sean? Unless you're handing it off to someone else, that's okay too.
Sean, I think you're muted.
Sorry.
Now we
Yeah,
can
we're
hear you.
just trying to separate part, annex the property, my brother's and mine, kind of separating it.
All right. Sonia, do you have a staff report?
Yes, so this is a certified survey map to create 2 lots out of 1. The existing, so first of all, this is the property on further south on Highway MM. It's the Kearns property. In the building on the north side is the portable toilet rental company. And we looked at this recently at Plan Commission for another requested CUP. Unrelated to the certified survey map, but just for context of location. The applicant also did come to the Plan Commission a couple of years ago in a pre-hearing conference just to run through this proposed land division at the conceptual level and see if there were any concerns. What they've submitted now is largely consistent with what was reviewed in the pre-hearing conference a few years ago, and there were no substantial concerns raised. And again, here staff has found no concerns and found that it's consistent with our land division ordinance. So it would divide this lot 2 around the existing building. No additional development is proposed. No changes in driveways or access points. And so they've provided some easements over the existing driveways. So lot 1 is providing an access easement to lot 2 so that they can come in from the existing driveway a little bit further north. And then the easement covers this driveway area and also provides access to what I understand is a vacant, an empty sort of ag accessory building or an old horse shed in the back. There was also a non-compliant setback. It should be 10 feet, but it was constructed in 2005 out of compliance with the code, and that it was built at 7.5 feet approximately. So in order to address that, there is a note on the CSM that just says if the building is altered or reconstructed, that they'll need to comply with setbacks in place at that time. And with that note, we avoid inadvertently approving a perpetual variance for that setback. So I think that's it. The staff recommendation is for approval. And there are 6 recommended conditions, and they're all fairly standard.
I only see 5.
5, right?
There are 5. I read that wrong. Yep.
Oh, all right, good. All right, comments, questions for Plan Commission members? Tom?
I guess I'm taking this over to Ed. I didn't have a chance to talk to you before this meeting, but somebody stopped me in the hall. Should this go on to Ag and Rural Affairs, do you think, Ed, to get their point of view or not?
I don't think so because it's an existing use. So it doesn't really affect agriculture, even though it's in the rural area.
Well, that's jumped right out at me, the rural area.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think so.
Okay, okay,
Nothing's being rezoned, so, no.
okay. All right, that's all.
Other questions or comments at all?
No.
All right, seeing none.
I would just comment and say thanks to Sean and the family for cleaning the property up too. It's nice to drive by there and not see the dumpsters out front. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Lane
Make
looks
a
like,
motion to approve CS 236720 with the 5 conditions as noted by staff.
Second.
seconded by Ed. All in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. All right, that is approved. Thanks, Sean.
All right, thank you.
All right, moving along to the final plat request for FPA 236820. And Tom, it looks like I have Tom Goff who's registered, but just in support and registered only, also here to answer any questions or comments. So he is here in chambers and available. Is there anyone else online, or you just want staff to talk about it?
I think Michelle might be online.
Oh, is Michelle? Actually, okay, good. Michelle, it looks like you are up if you'd like to explain what's going on.
Yeah, I registered to answer questions, but I can do a little bit of explanation.
That'd be great. Thank
So,
you.
we're replatting this block within Terra Besa to add a couple extra lots. And we've been working with Public Works to add the additional utility services needed. And I understand there's no changes to the smart code required. And if in there, any erosion control plans, I think we've already submitted those. So if there's any questions, I'm available to answer them.
All right, great. Sonia, do you want to do a staff report first?
So as the applicant noted, this would replat a portion of Terra Vesa, our smart code area that's already platted. This is along Romaine and Endive. And there are 5 lots in the original plat. This would allow 8 lots. And the developer, as I understand it, is looking to do single-family detached on these 8 lots. So this would stay as our Transect 4 designation, which allows that. So there were no other concerns raised in terms of smart code. It does meet all of the lot width requirements and sizes for that T4 Transect. The public improvements did go in with this entire first phase of the Terra Vesa plat. So there are a number of conditions that just address the need for utility lateral relocations and different easements and things like that. So there is a long list. There are 16 recommended conditions, but most of them are standard. For example, requiring the erosion control permit, stormwater maintenance agreement for any on-site private stormwater facilities, notes regarding various fees that have to be paid, including park fees. So only park fees for only 5 lots were paid. They will need to pay the additional 3. Other conditions regarding utility easements and making sure that those are shown properly on the plat. And then finally, that longer one, recommended condition number 16, just addresses the utility relocation and making sure that all of that is done at the developer's expense and to City of Fitchburg specifications.
All right. Questions, comments from the Planning Commission? Tom, Ed.
What's the anticipated price point for these units?
Tom's coming up to answer right now.
Tom Goff, Middleton, Wisconsin. I'm the owner of the property, also the builder. And, depending on lumber prices, hopefully they correct here over the winter, but I'm anticipating about $315,000.
Okay,
Great.
great, thank you.
Other questions or comments at all? I like that it's more owner-occupied options in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
I like a lot.
absolutely, and kind of getting into that somewhat more affordable price point too, which is which we're trying to find a way to do. So,
How big are the units gonna be?
It's about 1,650 square feet. So they're not a small little cottage-style house. They're 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a very large 2-car garage, rear load garage off the alley. So the concept is a 24-foot wide footprint and 4-foot side yards. That gets you up to about 32 feet. So should be cost-effective from a building standpoint because of the 24-foot layouts and things like that. And then we extend the second floor over the garage about 7 feet and gives you a little bit bigger bedroom areas upstairs, but you're not increasing the footprint of the home.
what are you doing for ceiling heights then?
9-foot first floor, 8-foot second.
Okay, I have seen a project like this before where you had, fairly narrow, like 24 feet, and they, at 8 feet, they can look a bit like a tunnel.
Yeah. I built homes like that, and the 9-foot really helps. It's just, you add an extra, 2 risers to your stair treads, which kind of impacts your second floor a little bit, but it's worth it.
And for the second floor, the second floor is where you're doing the 8, right?
They're at 8 foot on the second floor.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always vault the ceiling or use a scissor truss or, do some things up there, but I haven't found much demand for that type, We still use a 12-inch energy heel, with the trusses to get our values, but I haven't seen much, with scissor trusses or things like that. They're all hip roofs too, which limits your options, basically.
Thanks.
Other questions or comments at all? Oh, yeah, Tom.
Just to clarify what you said for Ed, is that 315, is that without the lot?
No, that's the whole package.
That's all package?
Yeah, that's a turnkey landscaping, everything.
How many car garage?
2-car garage. So the car garage is 24-foot wide and 23-foot deep. So what I found, I've done some infill redevelopments in Middleton, and what I found, if you don't give them a big enough garage, they don't park their cars in the garage for one thing, or the trash containers end up on the side of the house. So I'm kind of aware that if I give them a bigger garage, and that it's enough to keep their bikes and storage, everything inside.
Yeah. For other planners too, some people approach me in reference to watching this tonight. It's televised in Fitchburg as well, and they want to know what these houses are going for nowadays. Ed, you hit it right in the head. I think that has to be written on our foreheads, that people like to know, what are these for? I'm not here to tell you that it's too high or too low, but I can still question it. But, there are people out there that are maybe in apartments even, they're looking for a house, and I like your price. I mean, it can always go down, when you're talking to me.
Yeah, I could make them smaller homes, like a 1,500 square foot, but there's not a whole lot of cost savings by taking a foot out of a bedroom, basically. I also wear kind of all the hats, where I'm the owner, the builder, the developer. I also have a broker's license, but it can be awfully competitive if I have to be.
You already brought that up, so I'm going to bring it back to you. What's the average price in Middleton, like this? Are you building these in Middleton?
I've got a project in Middleton, and again, they were supposed to be a little bit more affordable or attainable, but they've ended up being in that 390 area. But it's Middleton too. The lots are more expensive.
Did you tell those people to come to Fitchburg?
I didn't say anything to them, mostly because Middleton they want to be in the school district. That's what's driving Middleton.
We have 3 school districts.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, I'm just here to help you.
Well,
Brand new school going up.
What's really interesting about the market is, if you're paying X amount in rent, you can own a home for less money right now. So there's a huge demand for, homes, and especially if they're a little bit more affordable.
Lane, do you have a question?
Yeah. Tom, Oregon schools for 315 at 1,600 square feet, that's a phenomenal price point, I can tell you from experience. My question, what happens, the 2 lots behind it, so the ones that are on Lacey, are they going to stay 2 bigger lots, or do you foresee them getting replotted
You'd have to ask Phil that question, but, you know, they're zoned for multifamily, you know, or live-work units, or commercial on the first floor, residential second floor.
So there's nothing there yet, right?
Nothing there,
So
and.
if you're successful, this could happen again, probably, right?
Yeah, you know, I'm not too worried about it. I just don't know if that's a strong market right now with the, you know, the commercial on first floors. And this is such a new project. When I see these new projects, they're a little soft, but eventually they fill in and they get more, you know, desirable. And I think this is just early in the process for Terravesa.
Yeah, over time.
Long-term, it's going to be a good project.
So this will have a rear-facing garage in the alley. Will there be a basement option as well?
Yeah, they'll have a full basement, and I've been doing 9-foot basements, so that, you know, they're nice and tall, 9 foot, not 8, 9, 9 foot.
Sure.
And, you know, the garages they'll have 18-foot wide doors. I've just found if you got a 24-foot wide garage, especially with the angle turning in, if you can get an 18-foot wide door versus 16, it makes it a lot more comfortable. So, yeah.
Where will the decks be?
There will not be any decks.
No deck at all?
I did enlarge the front porch, and I always, you know, it's an 8-by-9 front porch now. It could accommodate, if you wanted to screen it in, you could. You know, I've looked at that option, so, but at least it's big. I made it bigger because if you wanted to put a couple chairs out there, at least have a place to sit outside, you know.
But you generally wouldn't have like a, you know, the little decks where they build between the garage and the house?
Yeah,
None of that?
The lot is only 76 foot deep, I think, overall. It just can't do it.
Fair enough.
There's just not enough, you know. I'd looked at that if I could get 10 feet out of something, but I think there were too many compromises to do that.
Sure. And you're offering at $315, so it's, I think it's.
Well,
fair.
I mean, you know, in Middleton Hills, they always they want you to be on the sidewalk, you know, and they want people to be out in front instead of back, you know, tucked in behind the house. So it's a little bit more neighborly, I guess, to have that.
Well, thank you.
All right. Anything else? I think these will be popular, so. Anyone want to make a motion then?
I'll make a motion to approve FPA 236820
I'll second.
With
the 4 conditions as laid out by staff.
16.
16.
Oh, Lord, there are 16, yeah. The 16 conditions as laid out by staff.
And I'll second.
All right, seconded by Rich. All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. All right, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
All right, final plat request for FPA 236920. A request by Chad Weeben, I'm gonna butcher that. Are you for this one? Yeah. Okay, do you wanna come up and speak to it at all? All right.
Chad, we've been on Court Homes. We're simply adjusting some property lines within what was essentially an 8-unit lot. I know it's 8 individual lots in order to accomplish a 0 lot line townhome as opposed to a condo, just to make it more viable for people to borrow money to buy a townhome instead of a condo, essentially. So it's just minor adjustments in the lines.
All right. Sonia, do you want to do a staff report?
Another replat, as the applicant noted, it's existing 8 lots and it's going to be 8 lots with the replat. It just adjusts those lot lines in between in order to accommodate the 0 lot line townhome. And this is called Paxton Place 2. We looked at basically the exact same replat a couple of months ago on the block just to the north side that's shown on the screen, where Encore Construction did the same replat. So this is the same situation. No staff concerns. The recommendation is for approval with 8 conditions, and they are all standard. Again, just pointing out number 7, if changes are needed for the water and sanitary lateral locations, those need to be taken care of at the developer's expense and done to City of Fitchburg specifications.
Is there 8 or 9 conditions?
9.
All right. Keeping us on our toes. Good testing. Comments at all? Ed?
Yeah, Chad, same question for you. What's the price point on these and how fast are they selling?
Well, we're just got the first floor deck on the one you guys approved a few months ago, And they'll be right around $299. Some are trying to break the 3 mark, basically. But they're 1,800 square feet, and they've got some, it's all smart side. They're really, really nice units, so hopefully they'll go fast.
Okay.
We expect them to.
Good.
Anything else? See none, so I want to do a motion.
I move to approve FP 2369-20 with the 9 conditions as noted by staff.
Seconded by Lane. All in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. All right, that is also approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, going on to E now. Resolution R 18420. Resolution releasing and accepting a public water main and sanitary sewer easement. I'm guessing that you're doing this one, Sonia?
Yep, the remainder of the agenda are all sort of public works easements and easement releases. So I have the agenda shown on the screen now, and if anyone would like to see a map, I can go to those. Otherwise, I'll just describe them. So E is releasing, basically needing to relocate the easement locations for public water and sewer along Seminole Highway for the Crescent Crossing development there at Lacey and Seminole Highway. So just relocating, releasing and accepting a new easement location for that.
Any questions? Tom?
I just thought of it, Sonia, in reference to the cost, but that's probably being taken care of by the individual doing the project, right?
Yes, this would be part of their subdivision improvement agreement for Crescent Crossing.
Anything else?
Recommend approval of resolution R 18420.
Second.
So I'll give it to Stephen this time. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed, nay. All right, that one's also approved. All right, next one, Sonia.
Item F is back over in Terra Vesa, and it changes some easements on Outlot 6. Outlot 6 is the first parcel that you would meet when you come into the subdivision off of Lacey and MM. So this releases some utility easements and then accepts a public pedestrian and bike path easement on that outlet. The Public Works comments explain that this was just after further detailed design, the locations were changed and therefore these differences are needed.
All right, any questions?
I move to approve resolution 185-20.
I'll second.
Seconded by Rich. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed, nay. All right, that one's approved. All right, next one, R 18620.
Item G is also in Terra Vesa. That CSM number 15003 is the school, the Oregon Elementary School Certified Survey Map. And it sounds like the sidewalk was constructed in slightly the wrong location. So it goes into private property by 1 foot. So this is required in order to keep that sidewalk in that location. So the city would be taking an easement on private property for the public sidewalk on Brassica, just near the school.
All right, any questions? See none.
I recommend approval of resolution R 18720.
186.
I think you mean 18620.
620.
Her F is our F is her G. If you're looking
Yeah,
at your.
the
Oh,
staff report and the agenda are slightly off.
oh, sorry. Resolution 18620.
Second.
Seconded by Zach. All in favor, say aye.
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 Holy crap, they are.
And opposed, nay. All right, that's approved. All right, next one, Sonia.
And the last one is granting easements for the sanitary sewer project, the MMSD interceptor that's going in along some of the bike paths north of McKee. So the Plan Commission looked at this project a couple of months ago as well. We approved a conditional use permit for the impact to wetlands for that sanitary sewer project. This would address one of the conditions that was required of that CUP, that we need to grant easements. So primarily it's to MMSD, but it also grants easements to the entities that would be connecting. So that includes City of Madison, Thermo Fisher, and I think there was one more. CERTCO.
All right.
That's it.
Any questions at all? All right. Seeing none, is there a motion?
Move approval of R 18720.
Second.
All right, seconded by Stephen. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. And opposed, nay. All right, that is approved. Report from the departments.
I'll just note that we did release our call for the second round of minor comp plan amendments. So for the last 10 years, as you know, the city of Fitchburg has only done the once per year minor comp plan amendments, and that has traditionally been put out in the spring around April to our elected officials. And they're given about a month to respond with any minor comp plan amendments that they'd like to propose. As a reminder, that goes out to our elected officials because they are the only ones that may sponsor a comp plan amendment. It either needs to be the mayor or 3 alders. So with our major comp plan update that we just completed earlier this year, one of the changes was to go to 2 rounds of amendments per year. It's been about 6 months since round 1. So we've opened that up. The email request has gone out to the elected officials, and they're due back around mid to late November. That is the only report item I have.
All right. This is going to sound a little vague, but have you told your staff, Sonia, about the thing we're talking about tomorrow afternoon?
Yes, I have.
Okay, then I can talk about it right now. There'll be an announcement next week, but last year I started what I call the Mayoral Awards, where I recognize residents, business in Fitchburg, and then staff, and just kind of recognize them for all the things they've done maybe for Fitchburg in the past. And so this year I'm recognizing the Planning and Zoning Department for all the great work that they've done in the past year. When you look at updating the comp plan, when you look at the things they've done with healthy neighborhoods and the hub, the work they've done even with the solar farm, really a lot of great stuff. And it is extremely hard. I mean, our department's done a phenomenal job, obviously, but as a department that I am recognizing, and so you'll see an announcement next week, but I just wanted to thank the staff for that. Seconded, all in favor? No. The other thing too, just thought you guys might be interested, is that the city has issued, or I think is maybe finished, builders, I should say, have finished over 150 owner-occupied homes this year, between condos and houses and things like that. That's the highest in a really long time, if not ever. So I think that's something that's great to see. Terabassa is a big part of that, but there's a number of other developments in the city as well. So people are moving here and wanting to live here, which is great. So that's all I have. So if there's a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Ed, seconded by Lane. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed, nay. All right, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.